Hello, everybody, and welcome to Pushing 10. We're back. It's award season, so it's time to talk about awards, specifically the Academy Awards. The 95th Academy Awards will be airing March 12th on ABC, or check your local listings for that. My name is Matt. I am here with Scott Despins, and we
Hey,
are
pal.
excited about the Oscars. The nominations were announced this morning, and we're going to go through uh, the nominated movies, category by category. We'll try and make it brief as possible as we get to the lower end of the spectrum. But to kick things off, 10 Best Picture movies were nominated this year. I really didn't think it was going to go to 10. We each picked 10 to predict that
No, they
would.
announced it was going to be 10.
They announced. When did they
Yeah.
announce that?
Oh, this is like a couple months ago. They said that they'll hit
Oh,
10 no
okay.
matter what, because I think in the last couple of years it's been like 8 and 9. They said
Yeah.
that it was going to be 10. Oh, yeah, yeah. I didn't know you didn't know.
Okay.
They said it was going to be 10 for sure.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
uh, of those 10, we'll just break down which movies got the most nominations or multiple nominations. Everything Everywhere All at Once leads the pack with 11 nominations. I predicted at least 10, so when it got 11, I was very excited and very happy.
Did you
All
have
Quiet
both
on the
supporting
Western
actress?
Front. Huh?
We did a prediction before. Did you have both supporting actress nominations?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
All Quiet on the Western Front and Banshees of Inisherin got 9. Elvis got 8. The Fablemans got 7. Tar and Top Gun Maverick share 6 nominations. Black Panther, Wakanda Forever got 5. Avatar: The Way of Water got 4. Babylon, Triangle of Sadness, The Whale, and in a pleasant surprise, The Batman got 3 nominations. And rounding out multiple nominations with 2, we have Living and Women Talking. Scott, what was your initial reactions overall?
We talked a little bit. I say for the most part, I think there weren't that many surprises, and we'll go through. There were some, of course, because there would have to be. It'd be impossible for there to be none. But I feel like the 10 films was pretty set. Uh, there was a few vying for like the last 2 or 3 spots from when I look at other pundits and things like people were having maybe She Said would be on there, or I know you guessed RRR and things
Yeah.
like that. But I think, like I said, I bet the other way on the foreign film to be the best picture, and that's been surging over RRR probably a month ago was maybe in that spot.
Yeah.
But otherwise, no. I'm trying to think anything that I was very pleasantly surprised with. We'll dive in. I think the one that I was most surprised was one of the mid was Top Gun Maverick getting an adapted screenplay nomination. We'll talk about that, but
Okay.
that was one where I was like, holy shit, wow, we're really doing this. This is great. I knew it would get the picture nomination, but for it to get an adapted screenplay, along with Glass Onion, both sequels getting adapted because they're adapted from their
Yeah.
previous works,
Yep.
which is the funny rule. I explained to a few people on Twitter because they didn't understand why Glass Onion or Top Gun was adapted.
Sure.
They were like, I just saw on Twitter, people were
It's
like
not based on
trying
a
to be smart
book.
and saying,
Not
what
nothing
was
I've
it
ever read.
adapted from? And I'm like, well, adapted screenplays are always, the sequels are adapted from the previous medium.
Right.
But that was probably the one. Otherwise, I think everything else was kind of, aside from a few acting ones, I think everything was kind of like cut and dry. But we'll dive in and talk a little more. I'd like to.
And we'll start with the big one, Best Picture. 10 Best Picture nominations, like I said earlier. And these are all alphabetical. I'm reading off Wikipedia. All Quiet on the Western Front, Avatar: The Way of Water, The Banshees of Inisherin, Elvis, Everything Everywhere All at Once, The Fablemans, Tar, Top Gun Maverick, Triangle of Sadness, Women and Women Talking. We'll round out the 10. Scott, when we predicted the best pictures, you scored 10 for 10. I got
10 for 10.
7
I
out
should
of
have
10.
bet. I know. I wish. I saw. We were the same on a few, and obviously, we'll go through. You had one in supporting actor that you nailed, but I nailed one in lead actress, and then I
Yeah.
ended up getting perfect across the board. I think I did all. I was surging. I think I did all 5 directors correct,
Yeah, I think
and
so too.
all 10 pictures
Yeah.
correct. So not many surprises. I think, like I said, the main things. Triangle of Sadness won the Palme d'Or in the summer, and then people forgot about it. But then it's been like really popular again. I think it was really popular with the SAGs, and All Quiet on the Western Front is like one of the hottest films. It's a Netflix film, in the one of the hottest films in the last month because it's been released and seen. So I don't know. It just seems like finger on the pulse. That's the one that's surging. And then, like we said, I think the other 8 films, 7, of course, maybe including Women Talking, those were all kind of slam dunk movies in variation. But yeah, I gotta let
Now,
him pick it
you
all those
thought
10.
Women Talking was a slam dunk
Yeah, I
because
feel
there's
like
a big discussion or a big controversy over, again, this year, no female directors for best director, Sarah Polley getting snubbed, and this kind of really just adds to that conversation because it's a best picture win or nominee, but she doesn't get nominated for best director. It
Ben
only has
Affleck,
one other
Ben
nomination,
Affleck
and
says,
that is for Sarah Polley for
yeah,
best adapted screenplay.
yeah. No, I know. I definitely thought it was the one thing too about Women Talking. If you really want to dive back and look, it's a Plan B Brad Pitt production, so it's one of those. It's a big popular film as far as there's a lot of acting and big names in it. So that's kind of why I thought it would be, because there would be like that. Yes, it's a female centric film by female creators, and it's just a super loaded category as far as directors. But I could see it in one of the 10 spots. So I did think that it would at least crack that. No acting noms, but again, if it was to be believed, right an hour before, I wish I had taken the Jessie Buckley award that I wrote for supporting actress out and replaced it. We'll get to that. And just because they're all so good in the movie, there wasn't one that could really stand out. So that's
Sure.
why there's no acting noms for that. But I could see it as a film, as a picture. That's why.
Late last year, we did a list of our top 5 most anticipated movies of the year. On my list was Babylon,
Yeah.
which I said based on Damien Chazelle directing an all-star cast and the subject matter of the golden age of Hollywood, you might as well have just changed the title to Oscar the
You
movie.
did say that. That's funny. I
I
was
did say
rewatching
that.
that. You did say
And
that.
I did predict it would get, at least I thought it was going to get a Best Picture nomination. It got, and I didn't think it was going to get uh, a whole bunch. When I saw the movie, I liked it. I didn't love it. And I think that goes for a lot of people who saw it as well. I thought maybe it would get 5 nominations. It walked away with 3, but one of those 5 or 6 would have been Best Picture. I was
I didn't
wrong
have
on
for
that
anything. I
mark.
put it for Brad Pitt is for
Yeah,
supporting actor, and I didn't even feel really good about that. I probably should have spent a little bit more time trying to think of a 5th spot. The first trailer I saw was like, oh, so I didn't realize that this is what we're doing, because you and I think, both thought it was going to be Chazelle with like the rose-colored glasses, kind of doing the La La Land view of Hollywood, and then this movie's more like Singing in the Rain on heroin.
yeah.
So that kind of is very polarizing. It is very alienating to Oscar voters. So I left it out, and so did they. So
One big snub for Babylon we'll get to later is in a category I thought for sure it was going to get nominated
oh,
for.
cool! I can't wait to
Actually,
talk about that.
2 or 3 more. And when I reach those, we'll talk about it.
Cool.
Moving on though to Best Director, the Daniels for Everything Everywhere All at Once, Todd Field for Tar, Martin McDonough for Banshees of Inisherin, Ruben Östlund for Triangle of Sadness, and Steven Spielberg, the King, for the Fablemans. Now, uh, of the Best Picture nominees, everyone who directed a Best Picture, with the exception of Joseph Kosinski, are also nominated in other categories. Sarah Polley for writing, Women Talking. Who else? Um,
Todd
ba-
Fields, yeah.
Baz Luhrmann is a producer for Elvis, so he's also nominated for that. All Quiet on the Western Front. The director of that is up for screenplay. James Cameron is a producer. So 9 out of 10 directors for Best Picture movies are nominated elsewhere. Do you think that kind of evens it out?
Yeah, probably. Same. We saw the same thing last year. I mean, if you want to look at it too, what was last year? It was Coda wins Best Picture, the screenplays go elsewhere, and Jane Campion wins Director for
Power of the
What
Dog.
was the what was it?
Power of the Dog.
Power of the Dog. I'm like drawing a blank. I'm like, well, what's that? The cover? That was seems like forever ago. So yeah, it does spread it out a bit, and maybe we'll do quick. I mean, we're already pretty long here for going through all of them, but maybe we'll dive into where we think it's going right now. I think it's going to be kind of the same thing. I definitely think we're going to be getting original adapted different, director different, and picture different, and it spreads it around a bit. I mean, I think we all kind of thought maybe 6 months ago, Fablemans. This is going to be a celebration of Spielberg. Spielberg will get something. It's
Yeah.
probably in director category because this is the film where he directs about his life and all that, and it just fits. But I don't think if he's awarded here, he'll get either one or picture. So it does seem like it's going to be a spread out Oscars as well too.
There is one year, I forget what year it was specifically, but all of the Best Picture winners or nominees won something. And I
Yeah,
think it was the year that Skyfall came out because it won for
true.
sound.
Okay, that's fine. I'll look into that. That would have been 2012.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that year all of the Best Picture nominees won something, and I was happy. It's like, oh, everyone is not a participation trophy by any means, but each movie won something, and so they were clearly the best pictures.
Yeah.
We'll see if that repeats this year. Moving on to Best Actor: Austin Butler for Elvis, Colin Farrell for Banshees of Inisherin, Brendan Fraser for The Whale, Paul Mescal for After Sun, and Bill Nighy for Living. We though those first four spots, out of order there, Austin Butler, Colin Farrell, Brendan Fraser, and Bill Nighy have been pretty much
Yeah, they were
the
locked.
standard for
Yeah.
the entire award season. And we each picked somebody different for that fifth spot. I picked Ray Fiennes for The Menu. I really like that movie. I thought maybe it'd get slipped in there. You picked Tom Hanks for A Man Named Otto,
Yeah.
and it went to Paul Mescal for After Sun.
I
Or
know, and I
After Sun.
regret not doing that because so the last spot was rumored between Hanks or Fiennes got the Golden Globe. Um, there was Paul Mescal and Tom Cruise. There's a lot of Tom Cruise, Top Gun Maverick buzz.
Yes.
And I just was like, whatever, I got to pick the next category. Let's go Hanks because it'll be like that Denzel flight spot. And we'll all be like, was A Man Called Otto good? Because it's getting fine reviews. But I regret now because with Paul Mescal, who's like, I tell you all the time, Hollywood's next big thing, he just booked Gladiator 2, directed by Ridley Scott. He just replaced Blake Jenner in Merrily We Roll Along, Linklater's 20-year film, because obviously I thought about that. Jenner has allegations of assault, domestic assault, and we're going to make him in this 20-year film. That's kind of a tough hang. So he replaced him there. So he's going to be with us for a long, long time. And I like that he got nominated for lead actor here because it marks first time that every single person is a first time nominee. So none of these five men have ever been nominated. And that's not the case. If Fiennes was there, he's been previously nominated for an Oscar. Hanks certainly is one, two, nominated for at least five. And Cruise, of course, nominated before a few times. I think three times in lead, twice in supporting. And now it allows a first timer to kind of fit that. I wish I had seen that narrative as well too, because I really, really like that storyline for this year's Oscars as well.
And for anyone who is upset that Tom Cruise was not nominated for Best Actor, he is nominated though as a producer for Top Gun Maverick for Best Picture. Best Actress: Cate Blanchett for Tar, Ana de Armas for Blonde, Andrea Riseborough for To Leslie, Michelle Williams for The Fabelmans, and Michelle Yeoh for Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Again, there's the two front runners on this. It's Yeoh and Blanchett.
Yeah.
Could have gone either way. You know what's really funny is Williams and Ana de Armas had kind of polarizing performances. They're like big name stars who were like kind of there and kind of not, and like at a point the front runner. Like a year ago, they were the front runners, and then now they're kind of just tagging along. But we both included them. I want to say maybe we both left Michelle off, to be honest, actually, because we might have both had Viola Davis.
We both had Viola Davis.
We had different people.
Yeah.
You had Danielle Deadweiler.
Yes, I had her as well.
So I saw a lot of people were pissed off about her not getting on there and when she wrote that, I was like, okay, that's a really, really good one. I didn't actually think this Andrea Riseborough actress would be nominated. She's kind of popped up in the last like 2 weeks almost, and I don't take credit for this. I mean, I just was listening to the Big Picture podcast, is a podcast I like, and they were talking about how a bunch of actors like Ed Norton, people were tweeting about how good she was in this movie too, Leslie. So I was like, you know what? There's going to be a surprise. It's probably going to be Danielle Deadweiler, but I had already written Andrea Riseborough, and then that was the one who it was. So go figure.
Yeah, like you mentioned, a couple of missing names would be Danielle Deadweiler and what did we just say? Oh, Viola Davis.
Yeah.
Moving on, Best Supporting Actor: Brendan Gleeson for Banshees of Inisherin, Brian Tyree Henry for Causeway, Judd Hirsch for The Fabelmans, Barry Keoghan also for Banshees of Inisherin, and Ke Huy Quan for Everything Everywhere All at Once. Very happy for him. I did add Brian Tyree Henry to my list of predictions. His name came up in a couple of podcasts, and he got nominated for, I think, Critics' Choice or SAG, and I saw his name on that list. I was like, you know what? I'm going to slip that one in there, and it came up. We both had Paul Dano though for The Fabelmans, and Judd Hirsch. You can't say he stole it. He's in the movie for 10 minutes, and yes, it's a very big scene for him. It's not, you can't quite call it a one-man show, but it's certainly a big, it's really the supporting nominee. I mean, scene or two scenes that he's in. It's really a continuous 10 minutes. But I did see him on Kimmel a few days ago, a week ago, and when I saw him on there, I was like, oh, this is part of his campaign. He's going for this, and I still kind of put it past. It's like, but they won't nominate him. If anybody, it should be Paul Dano, but it ended up being Judd Hirsch.
Yeah, I know. I think I watched the movie knowing that he was a rumored name or a heavy front runner, and then you see the scene, you're like, okay, I guess that's the scene, and movies are great, and you've been around a while too. It's very much the been around a while, 10 minutes of screen time nomination, which Hollywood has been littered with that kind of performance in forever. So yeah, he definitely gets the 5th spot. I want to say we both had Gleeson, Keoghan, and Ke Huy Quan. You said Brian Tyree Henry. I forget who I said in that other 5th spot. I'm going to bring it up, but Brian Tyree Henry was the good call, and then he was the one who was nominated. I actually watched Causeway today too, so he's good in it. He's good. I love him as an actor, so I'm happy for that. But yeah, definitely the right call. I had picked Brad Pitt. Oh, I said already that spot, and I didn't feel good about it. I was like, that sucks. I don't feel good about this, but I was already like towards the end, so I was just set it and forget it.
Moving on to Best Supporting Actress: Angela Bassett for Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, Hong Chow for The Whale, Carrie Condon for Banshees of Inisherin, Jamie Lee Curtis for Everything Everywhere All at Once, and Stephanie Hsu as well for Everything Everywhere All at Once. I didn't have her on my list. She was on my list. Hong Chow was on my list.
That was the one.
I moved her.
Okay, that was the one that I was rumored because she's very good in The Whale and she's very good in The Menu, and she was getting a lot of stuff. And I put Jessie Buckley, and then I think I forgot to put Hong Chow. So I want to say this morning, an hour before, I was like, "Damn, I know I can't change the Facebook post, but I should just message Matt and be like, Hong Chow's going to get nominated. Like I know she is." And I obviously I guess Jessie Buckley, but I wish I did that. I am a little bummed. I thought Janelle Monáe would have and should have been in that. I thought that was a great spot for her after Glass Onion, but I guess that was the only one. I don't know. It's weird to say that would be the one that I was most excited for, but I think when we saw the movie, I was like, awesome. I'd be really excited for the Janelle Monáe Oscar like March, and she had it for a hot minute for that week of Christmas. That movie was the hottest thing on the planet, and then it just all fizzled. That's why when you put it, you made it a guess as best picture. I was like, oh my god, it does not have best picture steam anymore. No way. That movie went like this, and then kind of just like that, and it still ends up with the adapted, but no, it's just otherwise. But yeah, she was the one that I would have liked to have seen.
I had my first draft was Margot Robbie and Carey Mulligan. Carey Mulligan stuck on my list, which was incorrect, and I switched out. Or no. I had Margot Robbie and Hong Chow. I took out Hong Chow and I put Stephanie Hsu. I was like, yeah, I think that the 2-4 is unlikely, but I'm putting it in. And then I replaced Margot Robbie with Carey Mulligan, which
we should have seen it. They've been doing that a lot more too with the Oscars. The two roles, obviously, Power of the Dog had both last year. There's been a few, and a lot of people were going with Stephanie Hsu. So, but yeah, Jamie Lee Curtis first nom though, that rules. I feel like 3 months ago I had thought she was the front runner, and then Angela Bassett is like a lock. But no, Jamie Lee Curtis's first Oscar nomination.
Huh.
Yeah.
Moving on to the screenplay categories: Best Original Screenplay, Banshees of Inisherin, Everything Everywhere All at Once, The Fabelmans, Tar, and Triangle of Sadness. If Steven Spielberg wins an Oscar, I don't want to say I'm hoping it's this one, but it would be nice because screenplay is one that he doesn't have. He has the best director, he has the best producer.
I don't think you're winning this one, pal. I'm sorry. This is fun because like last year, I was very much. I don't have a horse in any of these races. It's going to be very much fun to watch as a spectator. I think you this year is kind of what I was last year with Will's March to the lead actor Oscar, and you are a big Spielberg fan, probably as big a Spielberg fan as I am a Will fan. So I'm very excited for you to see how this goes. I just, like we talked about, and maybe if we get out of here and we just kind of give our first predictions on the key major ones and see how they change. I think he will win. I don't think he wins this one. I think it's going to be really tough to beat Martin McDonagh in this category, man.
Yeah,
like,
yes,
I feel
absolutely.
like if you look at like the whole picture, it's like Banshees probably wins here. Everything Everywhere wins picture, and Fableman wins director. And I've just been trying to say that in a roundabout way. And I think Spielberg is going to win your best director because
that'd be great.
He's our director. He's Hollywood's director, and that's directing the movie of how Hollywood's director became the director.
I'm sure somewhere in his house he has a Homer Simpson like pictorial of him and John Ford. And John Ford's got 4 Best Director Oscars. He's got 2. He wants to get 3, and that 3 will probably end his career. I mean, he'll keep going until the day he dies for sure. But if he wins 3, in his mind, will he say, "Is that enough?" With
we shall
John
see.
Ford,
and I'm sure in that picture the horizon's on the top or the bottom, because if it's in the middle, it's fucking boring.
Best Adapted Screenplay: All Quiet on the Western Front, Glass Onion, a Knives Out mystery, Living, Top Gun Maverick, and Women Talking.
It kind of like, this is the one that was like kind of, I mean, I know people were, because Women Talking was adapted. Maverick here in a screenplay was like awesome. Maybe this is like kind of a weaker category because like All Quiet and Living were just kind of there. Glass Onion was a lock to be nominated as well too, and I think it's probably going to win this, TBH. But you know, seeing Top Gun Maverick getting, like, I feel like people are like, Top Gun Maverick. Even my brother-in-law messages me. He's like, I'm like, Top Gun Maverick. He's like, oh, I didn't know it was getting Best Picture love. And I was like, oh, kind of always was getting Best Picture love. I'm like, the real shocker is that Christian McQuarrie, Kruger, and Singer get the screenplay nom. I'm like, that's incredible to me. So that's kind of an interesting one. I just think original screenplay, I feel like those are like, well, Triangle of Sadness is whatever, but like those are like the big movies. And then like this one, like I feel like the only movie that competes with that is like Glass Onion.
You mentioned Christopher McQuarrie, who is Tom Cruise's partner of late for the Mission Impossible movies. So if
and the
he
commercials
take this one away, it'd be great.
And the See You at the Movies where he jumps out of a plane commercials.
Moving right along, Best Animated Feature. What?
Bang all of them out?
Yeah, I'll go through them quickly. We did the big ones, and we'll just mention if anything comes up in your mind, then
I'll just let you go. We'll go through.
Sure. Best animated feature film: Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, Marcel the Shell with Shoes On, Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, The Sea Beast, and Turning Red. I've seen a couple of them, and certainly we'll be seeing all of them before Oscar night.
Yeah.
It's interesting. The Sea Beast is I don't know if it's Netflix's first film from Netflix Animation. They're the ones who produced and funded this whole thing, but uh, that'll certainly be something I watch maybe even this weekend.
Yeah, I want to say it was high. I think when I was driving to Toronto on New Year's Day, I listened to a podcast where they talked about their favorite animated films of the year. And I think one guy had Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio and the other guy had The Sea Beast. So interesting. I just think this is just a really fun. I don't know. I don't know if it's a weak category, but it feels like it's Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio and
Yeah,
then 10 football fields gap and then everything else. I think Turning Red is a pretty C plus Pixar outing. You know what I mean? It's just Puss in Boots, which got great reviews, but it's this is Guillermo del Toro's 15-year long odyssey to do Pinocchio, the one story he wants to, and it's done motion capture. Everything
sure.
else is just kind of yeah, Sea Beast is okay, but it doesn't seem like there's anything other than that.
Best international feature film: All Quiet on the Western Front, Argentina 1985, Close, EO, and The Quiet Girl. Missing is RRR. I really dug that movie. It was nominated for a Golden Globe for Best International Feature. I really think it should have made an appearance in
Yeah, it
this
feels
category.
like from everything I've heard, it should have. One thing I will say, I haven't seen it yet. I haven't brought myself to it. When I was at WIF, I saw a preview for EO, and I'm like, well, that seems like one of the most Scott Desmond's films of all time. I'll probably cry like a baby in that one, and I'm glad that it got it. I will definitely bring myself to watch it. But it's tough with this category that when this category nominates one of the films for Best Picture, it's kind of like, well, if
Yes,
you have a film in this category that's nominated for the best, it's one of the 10 best movies of the year. And now you move it in a subcategory where it's against four other movies that are not nominated for. So it's just
right.
kind of like, okay, you want to talk about the lock of the century. Once a foreign film is nominated for Best Picture, that's your winner.
Yeah,
There's
we said
that.
it. We said it for Another Round. We said it
Yeah.
for Parasite, which did end up winning Best Picture, and we'll say it right here for All Quiet on the
Yeah.
Western Front.
Yeah. Cool. I'll let
Best
you go through these. I
documentary.
won't be able to add much on these ones here.
Oh, that's fine. Best documentary feature: All That Breathes, All the Beauty and the Bloodshed, Fire of Love, A House Made of Splinters, and Navalny. All right. Best documentary short subject: The Elephant Whisperers, Haul Out, How Do You Measure a Year, The Martha Mitchell Effect, and Stranger at the Gate. Best live action short film: An Irish Goodbye, Illa Ilval E Valu, Le Papier, Night Ride, and The Red Suitcase. Animated short subject: uh, The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse, The Flying Sailor, Ice Merchant, My Year of Dicks, and An Ostrich Who Told Me the World is Fake and I Think I Believe It.
Big laugh when Riz Ahmed said "My Year of Dicks." I watched it live this morning. Big laugh at the studio this morning. So
Best Original Score: All Quiet on the Western Front, Babylon, I think deserved. The
interesting.
Banshees of Inisherin, Everything Everywhere All at Once, and The Fablemans, making John Williams' 53rd Oscar nomination for his
Breaking his own
career.
old record.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'd have to double check to see if he's the most nominated person of all time. I think it's still Walt Disney, though.
Okay.
Best Original Song, Applause by Diane Warren. I sent a GIF to Scott and AB of Charlie Brown trying to kick the football. This is her 14th nomination, no wins since. So far, but she did, however, earlier this year receive an honorary Academy Award.
Yeah,
So
I'm seeing that right
who's
now.
to say maybe she walks home with bookends this year? We'll find out. Hold My Hand, the song from Top Gun. This is Lady Gaga's. Lift Me Up, That's Rihanna's song from Black Panther Wakanda Forever. Not to from RRR. I think is probably still the front runner. It won the Golden Globe, and it is. Uh, it's weird because from this movie, it wasn't my favorite song. It's a big dance number in the middle of the or early in the film, but there's a great song about the story of these two guys and their friendship, and which is kind of sung throughout the whole movie and was my favorite from that film. And to round it out, This Is a Life from Everything Everywhere All at Once, which I don't remember even hearing in the movie. Maybe it played over the credits.
Couldn't get out fast enough.
Best sound, All Quiet on the Western Front, Avatar, The Batman, Elvis, and Top Gun Maverick. This is where I thought Babylon should have gotten a nomination.
Okay.
Because for the trumpet playing, there's a lot of musical numbers, but what they do really good besides the sound is have terrific absence of sound. When there's silence, it is silent. Nobody in the theater made a noise, and you almost felt like you were going deaf. And I think that was very much a testament to the sound that they did have in the movie. To notice it's gone is, just as an achievement.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to dive in a little more on this because Elvis is very reminiscent of like a Bohemian Rhapsody, which I
Yeah.
believe won for best sound, or Maverick could. The Batman, people were rumored for this, like, obviously makeup and hairstyling, what you got, or sound, this great sound with the Batmobile and this chase and stuff. Avatar, always a technical wonder. And then All Quiet on the Western Front is like the classical, like, war film. So cannons, gunshot, fire. And it's like, it's going to be really tough when you really think about when we do predictions. This will be a really tough one because it's really loaded.
Best production design, All Quiet on the Western Front, Avatar, The Way of Water, Babylon. I thought this was one of its deserved. Elvis and The Fablemans. Best cinematography, All Quiet on the Western Front, Bardo, False Chronicle of a Handful of Truths, Elvis, Empire of Light, and Tar. I thought Babylon should have been nominated for this one, maybe.
Yeah, I could have seen it. That's probably, I mean, it is funny when you do want to do a dissect the atom. It gets a production design and a costume design.
Yeah.
But it doesn't. So you say everything that you're looking at looks good, but it's not one of the best looking films.
Right.
So that's where we said this is kind of, Bardo is interesting because it's in Urartu, and Empire of Light is obviously,
Right.
Empire of Light was a massive front runner, which kind of lost all its steam immediately. But it's Roger Deakins, who is a favorite, to be nominated. He's been winning more recently. So, like you said, when you look at Babylon, it gets nominations everywhere else, but not on cinematography. Interesting. So
it also did not get a nomination for the next category, Best Makeup and Hairstyling, which I thought it should have got a nomination for. What did get nominated was All Quiet on the Western Front, The Batman, Black Panther Wakanda Forever, Elvis, and The Whale.
mm-hmm. Be interesting to look at that one. Batman and the Whale are both very interesting uses of makeup.
Yeah.
But then when you look at hairstyling and the war ones always do well in those. Yeah, these are loaded technical ones.
Yeah. Moving on to costume design, Babylon, Black Panther Wakanda Forever, Elvis, Everything Everywhere All at Once, and Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris, to Andrew Bryan's dismay. He'll have to watch that movie now.
Yes, yeah, 1950s London stuff, but yeah, this is also loaded too. Babylon has great costumes, great boombastic Gatsby style parties. Ruth Carter Shoot famously won Marvel's first Academy Award for Black Panther in this same category. Costume design, Elvis. I don't need to say much more to that.
Yeah, you had to replicate all of those jumpsuits.
Yeah, the pink suit, the jumpsuits at the end. It's like, what are we doing here, guys? And then Everything Everywhere, which has an outstanding costumes across the multiverse story that it tells. So again, these technical ones, as I really look into now, since the first time they've been since nomination, they're loaded. Okay, two left. Get us there.
Two left. Best film editing, Banshees of Inisherin, Elvis, Everything Everywhere All at Once, Tar, Top Gun Maverick. And finally, Best Visual Effects, All Quiet on the Western Front, Avatar, The Batman, Black Panther Wakanda Forever, and Top Gun Maverick. It's great to see because a lot of my favorite movies that win Oscars usually win for Best Visual Effects. They're the
Mhm.
blockbuster type films. And many of these move on to other nominations of higher
Yeah,
standing.
yeah, it's really
That
interesting because three of them are nominated for Best Picture, which is cool,
right.
and then the other two are DC and Marvel, which is also very fun. And again, they're two big films franchise IP, so that's neat.
It was interesting as the nominations kept stacking up for All Quiet on the Western Front. I was just like, it was a movie I was going to see anyways, but it was going to be low on my list because I was like, okay, it's best international feature. I'll save those for the end. It's on Netflix, so it's not going anywhere. I'll certainly see it anytime I want to. But as those nominations kept stacking up, I was like, oh, it really grew to the top of my list as far as which movie I'm going to watch
Yeah,
first. I'll certainly watch it this weekend, probably Sunday.
yeah, I'll definitely, same as you. I'll check it out. I had heard about it. I knew it was adapted, obviously, before. Gosh, I want to say what the 50s, the 30s. It's based on a
The 30.
novel, maybe from
Yeah, the title,
after.
a movie based on the same book, has already won Best Picture.
Yeah, so it's exactly. And then, you look at there's always a room. I wasn't surprised by its rise because there's always room for a film like this. Like we saw 1917 took it to the limit, and even the Hurt Lockers, and like God, you can go through the Oscars and war film are peanut butter and jelly. So I'm not surprised by its meteoric rise. It could have probably got a few more, but everything kind of fell where we had, like I said, we had predicted for the most part, and I'm happy with these nominations.
Absolutely. Anything else? Any
Yeah,
last
you want to
thought?
go through? What do you want to go through the big ones, just so we can gauge? Not that anyone cares. We're not going to be held to this. Let's do predictions now, and then
Okay.
see how they change closer to. Because I have been going back and forth, so I want to see as I dive in more. Because I'm going to be gambling on these. Last year, I think I went 23 for 24. Can I get perfect this year? We shall see. But I want to
You
see if how.
you showed us a screen cap of the bets you did win for the Golden Globes.
Yeah, nailed the Golden Globes, man. I print money with that's why. Now you can bet on award shows. Like this is my favorite thing in the world. Yeah, I nailed that. And I could have gone further too. I played it safe. I think I made like 6 picks. I could have done like a 10-way parlay. So we'll see if I do that for the Oscars. But I do want to talk about now to see how I change as it gets closer to. So what would be your January 24th pick for Best Picture?
Uh, for Best Picture, right now, Banshees of Inisherin,
Now that's
because
where I've been going.
I think a lot of people love Everything Everywhere All at Once, and it's it's wonderful that it got nominated for Best Picture. I think it just might be too weird for the Academy, while Banshees is weird enough.
Yeah, I think Banshees was where I was going, especially after the Golden Globe showing. I think I probably would pick Everything Everywhere All at Once because I can see that would be like the gasping final, like, this is a new Academy. Look how young and hip we are. Because at this point, I think I would have awarded Banshees elsewhere. But we shall see. Director, what do you think?
I am going to go with Steven Spielberg and
I know I
hope
will too.
he'll get his 3 and hopefully one day that 4th so he can tie Jack Ford.
I'll go for that as well too. I could see the Daniels in here as well. A lot of people think that Spielberg will lose to the Daniels. I think Spielberg's going to get. This is kind of going to be like an honorary thing that we talked about. Lead actor and actress today. What do you think?
Actor, I mean, today and a month from now is probably going to be Brandon Fraser.
See, I think Colin Farrell could win. I feel like that's the one that I'm kind of a little worried about to bet. Now, I don't want to have like blinders because of the whole Golden Globe stuff because he did win the SAG, and he's kind of
The
back on
SAGs
because
happened. He won the Critics' Choice.
or
Did the SAGs
Critics'
happen
Choice.
yet?
Sorry, he won the Critics' Choice. No, SAG's I think the end of February. My mistake.
But
He did
it's
win the Critics'
interesting
Choice.
when the SAG, as far as the SAGs are concerned, because they don't split, drama and comedy like the Golden Globes do.
Oh,
So
didn't the
Austin
SAG
Butler,
nominations get out though? Wasn't that what Sandler got nominated for Hustle? Yeah,
yes.
Sandler was also rumored for an Oscar buzz too, and I said
So
no.
as
He's
far as the
not.
SAGs are concerned, this is the first time we're going to see Austin Butler, Colin Farrell, and Brendan Fraser compete under one umbrella.
I know, so that's good. I'll say Frasier, but I do kind of also think that Colin Farrell's coming on strong. And then for actress, we both agree. I think this is more of a lot. Kate Blanchett wins her third Oscar.
Absolutely not. Michelle Yeoh. It's
Okay.
Michelle
We'll
Yeoh
see.
for me, absolutely sure. And again, same as the SAGs, that we'll get to see who comes out on top and becomes a real front runner
Okay, well,
after
if
that.
I had said that last was a lock, then I think we both can agree that supporting actor and actress are locks with Ke Huy Quan and Angela Bassett.
Ke Huy Quan, absolutely. I said when he won the Golden Globe, I texted you, "Let's go." I didn't care about anything
Yeah,
for the rest of the night as
he
long
had
as
the
that
best speech
happened.
of the night too.
Best, and he delivered the speech as if he was winning the Oscar because he doesn't
See,
know
I
for
thought
sure if he's going to win an Oscar. So he got everything out as poignantly and as emotional as he could on Globes night.
that speech was more. Well, I know I could see how you would think that. I think that speech was, "Look how likable I am, and I have more to say." I don't know. I thought that speech is going to help him win the Academy Award because it was so good. But yeah, we agree. Him and Angela Bassett.
For today, Angela Bassett for sure because she's the front runner. We'll see
Yeah,
what happens at
cool.
SAG
Yeah, I agree.
if that changes anything. But
Yeah.
yeah, for
No,
now,
that's good.
Angela
So then we'll
Bassett.
talk closer to, and we'll have another set of predictions. Cool. I'm good, pal. I think we got through everything pretty well. That's awesome.
With that, I'll just leave with one more bit of trivia because we live up here in the Great White North. 8 Canadians are nominated for Oscars this year, including James Cameron and Brendan Fraser. If you want to include Tom Cruise, because he was brought up in
Ottawa.
Ottawa for a good period of time, that would be 9, but he doesn't have a citizenship just yet. So with that, we will be back here on the Mac Flash channel with Pushing Tim when we do our predictions. And then if something amazing happens, like someone gets slapped off stage, we'll definitely be coming back with the reactions to what happens on Oscar night. Again, is March 12th. Check your local listings. We will see everyone
Hosted by Jimmy
again.
Kimmel.
Who somebody is going to slap Jimmy Kimmel as far as like
No.
a sketch is concerned.
Okay.
I think he comes out on stage and somebody slaps him just to call back to last year.
Cool.
With that, Scott Despins, my name is Matt. We will see everyone in a few weeks after we've watched these and we'll talk some more. See everybody then.